All right, good morning everybody. I just wanted to hop on here real quick and show you guys, just do a short video on how I make my cold brewed coffee. It's what my husband drinks every morning because he says he can drink it faster, and so somehow it magically works faster, or whatever his theory is. But I do it a little bit different than most people do, so I just wanted to show you. In here I've got 4 cold cups of filtered water. And I use the Starbucks Pike Place blend. You can use whatever medium to dark or dark roast that you like. It doesn't really matter. So most people do 1 cup of ground coffee to 4 cups of water. I do 3/4 cup of ground coffee because I find if I do the full cup, it's not that it's necessarily too strong, but I find it to be very bitter, or at least too bitter for my liking. So I've decided on 3/4 cup. It's worked. That's what I'm going with. So normally you would just pour all of this coffee right into the water, right? But I found myself straining it through mesh strainers and cheesecloth and coffee filters 5 and 6 times every time I did it. And I was wasting a lot of counter space and taking a lot of time and honestly making a huge mess every time I did it. So I thought there has got to be a better way, right? Well, they make them in those little packs, but that's not always convenient or the most cost effective. So I made one myself. So in this big thing of water, I have put the 3/4 cup of ground coffee in the middle of this flour sack towel. You can get them at Walmart. I think it's like a 5-pack for $4. They're lovely. I normally use them to wrap like greens and produce in, but I found that they have more purposes than that. So this is about to be really professional. I've got my coffee, and I just bundle this little guy up so he can't get out, and the coffee won't come through this thing. And then I've got me a handy dandy hair bow here, because we all have those laying around. Maybe not all of us. Most of us have some of these laying around. And I just don't want the coffee grounds to get out in the water because I don't want to have to filter it a million times. That's the whole point of this, right? So I've just wrapped it around a couple times. There's no open spaces. It's not going to get out anywhere. And I just plop this down in the water and get it soaked in there. Once everything's wet, I kind of mush it around, make sure it gets all wet. And then put the lid on it as best I can. It doesn't have to be great, just something so it stays covered. And I also don't steep mine for 12 to 24 hours. I generally do mine for about 7 to 8. Then I will run it through this again, this clean part of it again, whenever I pour it out. And I find that it'll stay in the fridge for a week. There's barely anything settled at the bottom, and it's not as bitter. So I would love to hear how you do yours, because I may be doing this totally wrong, but he hasn't complained yet. So thank you guys so much.